Natural? 51 years old?
What do you think of Tyson and Jake?
I wish he didn't do it. I wish it wasn't a thing. I wish it wasn't a thing where a 58-year-old guy was going to fight a 28-year-old. That's it. That out the window.
If you're Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
If you're Mike Tyson, you know, I mean, even Paul, bro. Paul is not a small guy.
No.
He's big. Like, a lot of guys think he's tiny. No. He's a huge boy.
He's a big dude, and he can crack.
Yeah.
And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his skills.
Not anymore, bro. Before, when he first was coming out, that's the way you should look at him.
A celebrity. This was not for some charity. No. We're going to do this. And Jake Paul, they asked Jake Paul, did he take his foot off the gas? Stephen A., this is what he said. Yeah, definitely a bit. I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully he's made enough money, Stephen A.
Joe Rogan confronted Jake Paul after his win against Mike Tyson in their recent fight. It was a fight that no one expected, but everyone wanted to see. Mike Tyson, once the most feared heavyweight, stepped into the ring at 58 years old to fight Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer known for seeking big events and controversy. Netflix's first foray into combat sports turned into a spectacle with 72,300 fans filling the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and millions more watching worldwide. For those rooting for Tyson, the result was disappointing. Jake Paul won by unanimous decision, leaving fans, including Joe Rogan, with more questions than answers. Rogan, a longtime fan of Tyson, tweeted after the fight saying, "Magic isn't real." From the start, it was clear Tyson's heart was still in the fight, but his body wasn't. He wore a knee brace and moved stiffly. Tyson landed a few sharp left hooks in the first round, giving fans some hope, but by round 3, his age caught up with him. Jake Paul, with his youth, speed, and 31-year age advantage, outworked Tyson in every area. Paul landed 78 punches compared to Tyson's 18, a stat that clearly showed how the fight went. While Tyson's defense kept him from taking heavy damage, his offense almost disappeared after the first round.
So you can say whatever you want about Jake Paul. I don't think he's a great boxer. I don't think he's a good boxer. I think he's a great marketer. And he held Mike up. And Mike didn't have any spring in his step, as I've said many, many times. If Mike doesn't get you in the first round, he's not going to get you. Jake Paul is probably a better boxer. Well, certainly now. But I just didn't want Mike embarrassed. That's all. And then when he said he wanted to fight Jake Paul's brother, I go, no, Mike, we're not going to do this again. 60 million households tuned in for that, or at least tried to with Netflix. The undercard was great. The women, awesome. And then all of a sudden you're watching and there weren't any real standout punches, no real flurries or anything like that. And Mike biting on his gloves he says he has a biting fixation. Oh, we know that, Mike. But Mike got paid, and Jake Paul is going to take on somebody else again. Go back to when Jake Paul fought Nate Robinson.
By the end of the 8-round exhibition, Tyson looked exhausted and his famous knockout power was nowhere to be found. On the other hand, Paul appeared relaxed and in control, finishing the fight with a solid performance even though it raised some questions. Joe Rogan wasn't the only one left disappointed. Many fans had hoped for a fairy tale ending, a final moment of Tyson's magic to solidify his legacy even more. But the reality was clear. Tyson, who hadn't fought professionally since 2005, was visibly tired by round 3.
Hopefully he's made enough money, Stephen A., with this fight that he doesn't have to do this anymore.
I don't know.
It didn't look good. We saw Holyfield try to fight at 58, and he got knocked out. Man, let it go. It's time to let it go. Time out. Mike, you had your time. You're one of the great heavyweights of all time. But it's time to set this stuff aside.
Well, I'm always torn between, because I actually like Jake Paul a lot.
Rogan, who has spent years celebrating Tyson's explosive career on his podcast, couldn't hide his disappointment as one of the 65 million viewers who watched Netflix's historic debut in combat sports. Rogan admitted he had hoped for the impossible, that Tyson would pull off an upset. Instead, fans got Jake Paul, a man who, whether loved or hated, always finds ways to make headlines. Paul didn't waste time calling out potential future opponents, even hinting at a fight with Mexican boxing superstar Canelo Alvarez. Jake Paul is now 1-1-1 as a professional, with his only loss being to Tommy Fury last year. After 5 straight wins, Paul's confidence is at an all-time high, and he's targeting bigger names. As for Mike Tyson, the fight raised serious doubts about whether he should fight again. Despite moments of his former greatness, Tyson struggled to keep up with the pace and admitted he wasn't sure about his future in the ring. With a record of 57 wins, including 44 knockouts, Tyson's legacy is secure. But this fight wasn't the ending fans had hoped for. Critics argue that events like these turn boxing into a sideshow, but there's no denying the hype and revenue they bring. Tyson vs. Paul drew a star-studded crowd and set records for a streaming combat event. However, for purists like Joe Rogan, the fight left a bitter aftertaste.
Shannon, I'm happy that Mike Tyson had that moment for himself and his family. I'm happy to hear that he's better health-wise. Certainly happy he got that bag. I think it was about $20 million that he got for the night. On that surface, I'm very, very happy for him. I wish him nothing but the best. All of us who love boxing will forever be fans of Mike Tyson. Mad love and respect to him. He looked bad. He looked like somebody that was in a hospital months earlier. He looked like somebody that, as he described, who lost a lot of blood, lost a lot of weight, etc. I watched Mike Tyson walking to the ring. He stumbled while he was walking to the ring. Then they looked lower when the camera angle zoomed out, and he had a knee brace on his right knee. He got in the ring, looked old, he looked slow. And I want to make sure that I'm clear about what I'm about to say. Under no circumstances do I believe it was something that was preordained, but I believe that when Jake Paul was in the ring with Mike Tyson, there was something that said to him, I can't do this. I'm not going to try to knock him out. He's Mike Tyson. He's 58 years old. He's 31 years older than me. I know I can take him. I don't need to do this. And for those who will question it, I will remind y'all that there have been moments in boxing where we've seen fighters exercising compassion.
Jake cruised to his 11th professional win, but nobody's really celebrating Jake Paul's victory. The backlash has been relentless, with fans and critics calling the fight everything from staged to a waste of time. Social media lit up with comments like, "You're a 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old. Is that really a win?" Others pointed out that if Paul had lost, it would have been the embarrassment of the century. Since he won, the general sentiment is, congrats, you beat a grandpa.
Guys, do you know what I expected? Professional boxing match. Not a high-level professional boxing match, not a back-and-forth competitive one. I expected a boxing match where there was going to be a winner and a loser and both were going to try. And I expected Mike to get stretched, right? I expect him to be dangerous for a round, maybe a round and a half, and then it would catch up with him and he'd get stopped. And it looked like it was heading that way in round 3. Instead, what we got would have been worse, is actually in a lot of ways, my opinion, worse than had Mike taken the beating and got knocked out, which we wouldn't want for him, but he signed up for this, and so did we, by the way, right? So what we got was pro wrestling. What we got was not a fight. It was awful. And even there was a short period of what you thought you were guaranteed to get, which is Mike emptying the tank in the first 30 seconds and at least, seeing how Jake dealt with that. Both just left open periods where they could have punched and did nothing, as if they're protecting one another. And then, obviously after Jake hurt him in round 3, he could have finished him off with a hard jab probably, but carried him the distance. You can't do the I'm going to up aerial routine and the slap and all that on Thursday and then do this pro wrestling here. So what did I expect? A fight, because it was Mike Tyson who pushed for this to be a fight. So whatever it was going to be, as bad or as gross or as sloppy, we accepted that. We were going to judge it for its entertainment value and the time we took to preview this and get, and get ready for it. But they're showing us that it was pro wrestling in the end, and Jake carried him, and yet some people out here are still saying, I can't believe Jake couldn't knock out Mike. Like, it wasn't a fight.
Jake Paul admitted after the fight that he was scared to face a legend like Tyson, but the results speak for themselves. He controlled the fight, stayed calm, and won. Still, fans want more. They want Paul to fight a top-tier fighter, not retired champions or MMA stars. They have a point. Paul has shown he's serious about boxing, but to earn respect, he'll need to fight someone in their prime. He'll also need to do better to satisfy fans who watched the last fight.
Oh, what the fuck? Yo, get the out of here, bro. Get the out of here, bro. We just witnessed the lick on the century. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of niggas hyping this and this ass. I'm tired of this nigga. They both just hit a lick on the whole world. I'm tired of this. bro. Like, Jake, you're not even doing nothing, bro. You're not even trying to prove nothing, dude. Nah, what the f am I watching, man?
Joe Rogan, a UFC commentator and podcast host, has seen many fights but couldn't understand this one. Despite the loss, Mike Tyson isn't retiring. In his post-fight interview, he hinted at fighting again, possibly against Jake Paul's older brother, Logan Paul. Yes, the same Logan who fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. in an exhibition match. Tyson's determination and refusal to quietly retire show his warrior spirit, but fans are concerned. The fight ended with sportsmanship as Paul bowed to Tyson and they embraced in front of the cheering crowd. It was a respectful moment, but it didn't change how awkward the match was.
Sometimes I hate that I'm in this business and that I have to watch and react to certain things, because what was that? What was that? First of all, Netflix, if you gonna do big, you need to be prepared to do. Ain't nowhere in the hell y'all keep going up on our subscription costs, but your ass wasn't prepared for all the traffic you were gonna get tonight. You had 5 million on Antonio Brown's live on Twitter watching because y'all were. Get your shit together. That's one. Two, whoever is controlling Mike Tyson's money, take your hands off of it. Take your hands off of it. Ain't nowhere in the hell that man should have been in that ring tonight. And he should have enough money. And look, I know Don King fucked over him. I know all that kind of stuff. I know he missed out on a lot of chicks in his prime because he went to jail. You know what I'm talking about? The man still should have enough money. But y'all running this man out here. Stop it. The man is almost eligible for Medicare. Stop it. Stop it. And Mike, you a grown man, so can't nobody make you do what you don't want to do. So sit your ass down somewhere.
Jake Paul may have won officially, but many people believe the real winner in the hearts of fans is still Mike Tyson. He may have been outperformed and outpaced, but the fact that he stepped into the ring at 58 is legendary. As things settled, the debate about whether the fight should have happened continued. Critics called it sad to see Tyson back in the ring, while others complained about the state of modern boxing for allowing these types of spectacle fights.
Muhammad Ali praying that he wouldn't get up. He wouldn't get up and he wouldn't come out to fight. I remember seeing fighters. I've seen Roy Jones knock folks out, but step back and ask the referee, come on, man, stop. You gotta stop this. You know what I'm saying? I've seen plenty of fighters do that. And I'm saying that that is what I saw Friday night. It was, I did not want to see. I was praying that Mike Tyson didn't get hurt. I was praying that he didn't get knocked out. I didn't want to see that. And I think that Jake Paul, there was something inside of Jake Paul that said, you know what? I don't want to do this either. And oh, by the way, it would make me look really, really bad to hurt this man because he shouldn't have been in there with him in the first place. Mike Tyson's 58 years old. Father Time is undefeated. There comes a moment in time when we all have to step back and step away. Mike Tyson, I will remind y'all, almost 20 years ago, got dropped by Kevin McBride, as L. Duncan pointed out last week, and wasn't even hurt. He was just tired because he was out of shape. And he lifted his arm looking for the referee to help him get up. And that was 20 years ago. So yeah, he went 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds and stuff like that. I'm glad it's over, Shannon. I was not happy with what I saw. Quite frankly, I was very, very sad and I was scared looking at him in the ring, praying that he didn't get his brains beaten. And I'm happy that that didn't happen.
Jake Paul is aiming for bigger, more profitable challenges. He once again called out Conor McGregor, asking for an MMF fight with no weight class. Whether this fight or one with Canelo Alvarez happens, Paul continues to push his image as the face of boxing, though many boxing purists disagree. However, fans respect the courage it took for Mike Tyson to return to the ring, especially after overcoming serious health problems earlier in the year. Many, like Joe Rogan, had hoped this fight would be the final chapter of Tyson's career. Rogan, whose podcast often discusses combat sports, reflected on Tyson's rise in boxing. He described Tyson's early 20s as a time when he was unstoppable. By 20, Tyson had already become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. His power, speed, and fierce mindset were unmatched in boxing. Tyson's career began when he was just 18 and he knocked out his first 19 opponents. By 1986, after defeating Trevor Berbick, Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion ever, a record that still holds. Rogan admired Tyson's raw talent and his almost mythical presence, calling him a gladiator born in the wrong era. However, Rogan noted that Tyson's fight against Jake Paul was far from the dominance of his youth. Tyson, 31 years older than Paul, showed signs of aging, while Paul, with more energy, outboxed him over 8 rounds. Paul landed 78 punches while Tyson only landed 18. For Rogan, Tyson's comeback is bittersweet. He respects Tyson's passion and drive but understands the risks of an older fighter facing younger opponents. This wasn't Tyson's first comeback. In 2020, he fought Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition match, which ended in a draw but sparked interest in Tyson's boxing career. That fight was more for nostalgia, but the fight against Paul was a real, professionally sanctioned match which counted on both fighters' records and was overseen by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. This was no exhibition, it was the real deal.
Get his brains beaten, and I'm happy that that didn't happen.
I think everybody's happy that it's over. I think a lot of people are happy. It would be happier if he never does this again. Stephen A., you said he looked old. Yeah, he is old. He's 58. And there's a reason why you stepped away from the game 20 plus years ago. If you thought you still had that in you, you would have kept fighting. You said you didn't have that in you anymore. It was bad. It was bad. And Stephen A., I want to echo everything that you said. This man owes a lot. He had 8 transfusions, almost lost his life, lost 25 pounds. Kudos. But bro, when you step into the ring, we got to set that aside. We got to judge you on your performance. And that performance was pathetic. I mean, you don't get no kudos about, oh, he's 58. No, that's not what this is. This was not some a celebrity. This was not for some charity. No. We're going to do this. And Jake Paul, they asked Jake Paul, did he take his foot off the gas?
So where does Tyson go from here? Rogan thinks Tyson's future in boxing will depend on how he feels physically and mentally after this fight. If he wakes up sore and realizes he no longer has the same speed, he might reconsider fighting again. There's also the question of Tyson's legacy. For decades, he's been considered one of the greatest heavyweights ever, with a prime that was unmatched in terms of dominance. Some fans and critics think that continuing to fight at 58 could hurt his legacy. Others, however, see Tyson's return to the ring as proof of his love for boxing and his refusal to give up on his dreams. But maybe the most interesting part of Tyson's career is the chance for one last great moment. Rogan believes Tyson could still have one more amazing performance, but it's a long shot. But Tyson has defied the odds before. After all, this is a man who went from the youngest heavyweight champion in history to serving time in prison only to come back and reclaim his spot at the top of the boxing world. If anyone can pull off a late career resurgence, it's Mike Tyson. For now, Tyson remains an enigma, a larger-than-life figure whose story is still being written, and watch we will whether Tyson chooses to fight again or finally retires for good. His place in boxing history is secure, but if another fight is on the horizon, you can bet that fans and critics will be glued to their screens waiting to see if the man who once ruled the heavyweight division still has a little magic left in his gloves. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the notification bell. Thanks for watching.